What's up, Starcraft fans? They were doing the tier list for Bubble Pop on Cradle of Death. Brian, let's hear the mutation.
Cradle of Death is the map where constructs guard specific points that we have to destroy. These constructs are invincible unless we bring a truck nearby to make them vulnerable. Then we destroy them and both players need to deploy the trucks in the guarded spots to destroy the objectives. Your mineral patches are sometimes blocked.
Shields.
Big bubbles slow down your forces when they wander inside.
Time warp.
All enemy units and structures gain a 100 health shield when they first take damage.
That's barrier. So Tutu is in the call with us today. Tutu, how are you?
Good.
So how will we
Alright.
rank the commanders this week?
This is the last really easy mutation
Yeah.
for a while.
Yes.
Everyone's gonna be fine. The only real problem is barrier.
Yes. So let's begin. Oh wait, for me, the baseline is A. If you're gonna have a really easy time, like you're gonna wipe the board very quickly, that's gonna be S. And if you might have a bit of trouble, you're B. So let's begin. Abathur, where do we have him?
Abathur, since the first attack wave doesn't come until 4 minutes, you have plenty of time to get a Brutalist. You can even use your trucks because you can use your trucks to lure enemies into toxic nests, and
Yes.
that's great because even if you lose the truck, you
It'll
don't
just respawn.
you can just get another one. So you don't have to sacrifice economy or anything to get a Brutalist. And once you have 3 Brutalists, you can swipe the enemies, trigger their barriers, or just hit many barriers at once, and you can use Vipers to stop them from attacking you.
Yeah.
So he's really strong, and I put him in S.
All right. Same reason for me. I had him in A because some guys don't know how to use the toxicness. They don't know how to get brutalisks. I'm okay with S actually. I kind of separated the guys who do really well from the guys who are just baseline good for this. But if you think Abathur is that good, I'm okay with putting him in S.
You don't need to manually detonate nests. I guess that's harder for some people. You just kind of drop nests, lure, push your truck in and then pull out, and they'll walk onto the nests.
I don't think it's the fact that people detonate, or I don't think it's lack of skill in detonating nests. It's just that a lot of people just don't go for fast brutalisks. But yeah, I don't see that being hard enough to because even if you don't do that, you'll still naturally gain enough biomass to eventually steamroll this map. So that's why I'm okay with him being an S, regardless. Which prestige do you want? Do you want no prestige and
Not-
second prestige, right?
Not one.
Not the first one. You can go for the third one. That's fine. It's probably not S though. All right.
Yeah.
Let's put Abathur in S. Alarak, he's baseline for me. He's fine with this. He might get a little annoyed when his guys get stuck in the time warps, so he's A. What do you think?
Oh, his barrier makes attacking a lot slower because you won't, unless the enemies are Zerglings, you won't kill them in one shot, or early game Marines. But everything else, you're gonna trigger a barrier, and then you have to run or waste ascendant shots or something to or you just get hit for 5 seconds until the barrier is gone. So it's kind of annoying, but not so bad. So I put him in A.
Yeah, we kind
It's
of
fine.
agree. Any prestige should work fine here, right?
Yeah, any prestige is fine.
You probably want the third one so you get the mothership, but anyone is fine. Let's continue. Arcturus, where do we have him?
For him, he has ESOs, so that's good. You can trigger the barriers when you're still at home, so that's good. The small issue is if you actually have to fighting head on against enemies with barrier kind of sucks. So you might lose stuff. You won't lose a lot, but yeah. So I would recommend you use ESOs, you kill as many things as you can, and then the escort waves, you let them come to you, and you'll be waiting at the ramp with like a few bunkers that have
Yes.
fire bats or something, and then take them out first. Then you
Yes.
walk in with your army afterwards. I put him in A.
I actually had Arcturus in S here because when you have Earth Splitters, you just kind of take out most of the enemies, and then for the later ones, you can just, or the further ones, you can just kind of use Contaminated Strike to activate their barriers that won't activate anymore. You can even use Zerg Drop or Zerg Cooldown. You can even use nukes or yeah, Nuclear Annihilation to finish off most of it. It will go through barrier. It will eat through the barrier and still go through and destroy most of the things. But um, that's why I had him in S. Even I personally have trouble with the actual building of the Earth Splitters, I think it's still easy enough. There's not really any of these. Maybe the mineral shields could get annoying, but you can just drop a bunker in your mineral line and just put them in a control group and right click the or attack move on the shards. The barriers I don't think will be an issue at all. The time warp I don't think will be an issue. So there's no issue for Arcturus here, and I think it's easy enough. Even if you have guys who are attacking the transport, you can just have the bunkers, as T2 said, on the ramps. That's why I had him an S. What do you think, though?
I think if you have an ally, he's gonna take your ESO space, and you might not be able to reach the side that you want to hit. So you're like not. I don't know if like simply relying on Contaminated Strike to trigger the barrier is good enough. So like if you're on the left side and you can't really reach the bottom right unless you build on the low ground, which some people are hesitant to do. So on the high ground, you can't really reach the bottom right, so you have to go in. And if you go in, your army's like, yeah, you can. Your army's fine, but it's just you gotta go in. So the
That's a
ESOs don't.
valid point. That's a valid point. I can see that, but I would just use nukes on the far corners so that I don't actually have to try and reach the far areas with Earth Splitters because they are tightly grouped. So a singular nuclear annihilation will probably do the job for it, wouldn't you think?
You would clear most of the stuff, but like you're gonna how many nukes? If you nuke twice, that's like 10 minutes or like 6 minutes because you nuke and then 5 more minutes of waiting.
Well,
Which
you can just spend that 5 minutes, using other stuff like Zerg cooldown to at least activate the barrier or Earth Split away.
yeah, I just think that if you have to go in the army and you like your army's not exactly very durable. You can have a
That's
lot
true.
of them, but they're not really durable.
That's true. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Despite
So
that,
I
I
just
think it's
that's why I think he's fine. He's
he's A.
strong, but not the top.
Okay, that's fine with me. Let's put him in A. Artanis, I think he may have a little bit of issue here, especially if he goes for Mass Dragoons, because he will need to be on top of the mineral shields. So that is something that might be concerning. He also has a tendency to overkill with this Dragoon, so that might be a little bit annoying with the truck attack wave. So you have to use High Templar, but guess what? The High Templar will get annoyed with barrier when the Zerglings just kind of shrug off the storm. That's why I'd have him in B instead of A.
Yeah. I put him in B for similar reasons. Artanis is bad against barrier, so yeah. I used Phoenix. I think I used Phoenix Dragoon Zealot. So it's mostly Phoenix Zealot with a few Dragoons to assist with like hitting the air units that
Oh,
are trapped.
that's cool.
But yeah, B.
All right. Which prestige? We still recommend the third one here, right? Because that allows you to get the
Still
fast
third one.
expansion. Yeah, the fast expansion is pretty nice. When you
Only if your
use
allies
yeah, only if your ally
only if your
is
allies
agreeing
in on
or
it.
yeah knows how to do it too, and wants to do it. Anyway, yeah, it's fine. B is still fine. Dehaka, I had him in S because Creeper Host's good, Pack Eater's good, and the mineral shields they might get annoying, but A you can put down primal worms, and B you're mostly limited on gas anyway to what you can produce. So I think it's a big deal. Do the package? I think the packages might even ignore time warp. I'm not sure if they do, but if there's one thing that ignores time warp, I bet it'd be the pack eaters. What they probably don't, but I think it's still strong enough that he'll just pretty much play this normally, so he's still S. The only annoying part probably is the beginning, when he's trying to get or he's trying to get essence, but he just kind of grind at it until he's strong enough, or until he has pack eaters that it won't really matter anymore. What do you think?
I think he's also S. I would rather use Mutalisks than Mutalist Guardian or just Mutalisk than Creeper Host. But
That's also
same
fine.
thing. Yeah, because pack leader's really strong, really hot, lots of HP, and
Really hot.
you don't really need minerals later on.
Yes. So S,
Yeah, S.
any prestige will work fine, right? Even the first
Yes.
prestige,
Even
third
zero.
prestige, no
Yeah.
prestige. They'll everything will
All
work fine. Phoenix for me is right between S and A because Caldalis, yes, he will cleave through the enemies quickly even with barrier, but he might get annoyed when everything starts stacking together, like the time warp slowing down our Phoenix and Caldalis, so that he need a few more legionnaires to replenish the shells, and you have the shields, the middle shields attacking your attention that you have to click on the each individual shield, and then you have the attack waves and the trucks that you pretty much have to defend with either your units, which will hold you back even more, or your shells, which will put the shells in danger. So that's why I'm hesitant on putting him in S. On the front, he's probably really strong, but when his shells need to fight, that might be a little bit dicey. And when you need to replace your guys, that's when you'll feel mineral shields. So I only have him in A, just still baseline. What do you think?
Yeah, I think like P1 would also be fine because P1 stronger Phoenix suits, and then you could like burn through their barriers more quickly, and you could deal with air units better. Like when if you're fighting an air comp, you can deal with air, and then you can mass carriers, which deal tons of
Oh
damage.
yeah, mass care is pretty good.
I used P2, but I think P1 is fine too, and I think A is fine.
Yeah, we agree on that. A is fine. So either first prestige or second prestige, either Akondollar or tactical, not tactical. The
Network
network
administrator.
administrator. There we go. Han and Horner, where do you have them?
Han and Horner. They like if you can use strike fighters well, you can hit a lot of the ground units and like trigger their barrier before they get close. But other than that, I don't. They're not very good against barrier, and they don't have static defense that allows you to like use your whole army and still hit mineral shields. To the point where sometimes in the late game, I just use strike fighters on mineral shields because I
Yes.
don't want to have to deal with them.
Yeah.
It's really annoying to deal with, and fighting against barrier kind of sucks. So B.
I actually had him in C because the guys in B still, for me, wouldn't have that much problem with mineral shields because they do. My guys in B do have static defense, and only Han and Horner, among everyone, has a bit of an issue with mineral shields. I think C fits more because they're fine, but they would get majorly annoyed, and I think they're the worst commander this week. So I think they're C. Do you think? Do you think they're bad enough to be C, or do you insist on B?
Uh, I don't think they're that good. So I don't know who's the worst. I don't rank them ahead of time, but I do think they're among the worst. So I guess because of mineral shields, yeah, C is fine.
Okay, we'll
I
put
think
him in
C is
C.
fine.
I
I think
think.
one way you can go around it is like you put supply depots to like trap a Hellion so that the Hellion won't run away
Oh
when you
yeah,
F2.
a forced static defense.
Yes.
That's an idea, but I think I'd still rather do the airstrike option, so I don't have to do like fancy SimCity thing. But yes, that'll also work. For me, I didn't really rank the commanders at a time, but for me, Han and Honor is the only one in C. That's why if they're the only one in C, that means they're the lowest by default. So there we go. Anyway, Karax, I think is baseline here. He can go for the fast expansion, but he might get slightly annoyed by the time warp when he pushes in with carriers and sentinels. It's fine. It's still pretty good, but just not as strong as Abathur and Dehaka. That's why I have an A instead of S. What do you think?
I put him in A. It's just carriers plus zealots, and then like you can orbital strike the mineral shields.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, nothing much
Nothing
to
much to say.
add.
It's just baseline. It's just do what you normally do, but it's nothing special for this week. One note: when you play as Karax and you want to use your orbital strike to clear the middle shields, is that you can, if you place the circle on your orbital strike properly, you can hit 2 or 3 mineral shields. That'll make it very efficient for you. Do you recommend the second prestige or the third one for Karax?
I used second.
So Templar Apparent. So you won't have static defense, but to compensate, you still have a pretty good Spear of Adun, which will one-shot the mineral shields. It will not be. It will not trigger. It will trigger the barrier, but it's already destroyed. So it will actually be useful. It will not, activate on anything because the thing's already destroyed. Anyway, A is unanimous for both of us. Kerrigan, where do you have him?
Kerrigan, this is her map. One of the best maps she's good at. She's good at because if you use like P0 max immobilization wave, every time you use it, you just clear an entire area.
Yeah.
Like everything, you trigger the rest of the ones that don't die, their barriers will be triggered.
Yeah.
And then you just go in with like whatever your army is afterwards.
The cleanup.
And yeah, so I put her in S.
I also had her in S, pretty much the same reason. Immobilization wave. Immobilization wave is her MVP. Before you hit 10 minutes, you just kind of do your thing normally. Just micro Kerrigan, try to get your army up, try to get your upgrades up. Once you hit 10 minutes, you should have all 3 Kerrigan-centric upgrades and use Leaping Strike to the center, or the centermost of every base. Drop Immobilization wave, which is 30 range. And I think only the constructs will remain after that, and bunkers, because bunkers. But you can just hide in the Omega room after then, and then just wait 5 seconds for the barrier to be gone, and then pop out with your army, finish the rest. S, unanimous.
Oh, I will add that I did this one with no mining and both bonuses. So Kerrigan. So,
Kerrigan,
yeah.
pretty good. All right, let's put her in
Pretty
S. Any prestige is fine here, I think, right?
Yes.
Oh, except the second one, because that won't.
No, second one will not allow you. You won't be able to kill the enemies in one shot.
The second one will activate the barrier for the enemies, so I think that's annoying enough to put her down to A. But other prestige will probably still be S. Nova, I also put her in S because she can go for the third prestige and play a pretty similar strategy to Kerrigan, except instead of immobilization wave, you'll use the big nuke thingy, which will also damage structures. That's why I have her in S.
I didn't use P3. I just used regular P1, and it's still S. Like
Still S.
you just do your Liberator stuff and kill everything.
All right.
You deal so much damage. You just punch through their barriers.
Cool. So many ways to skin a cat here. Both of them will be S tier. So yeah, Nova, pretty good. Raynor, where do we have him?
Raynor, if you're not good with P3 and you use P1 or P0 biomech, it's a lot harder. It's not impossible, but it's a lot harder because they have barrier and like your Marines will trigger their barrier and you gotta like fight through them or kite through them. If you use P3, you make BCs, which you'll still have to fight through the barriers, but at least you're stronger and half the units probably can't hit you.
Yeah.
And your minerals will go to spider mines. I put them in B.
I also put Raider in B, but I'm thinking just go bio here, either no prestige or second prestige, and just kind of walk through the barrier or the time warp. So that the obvious weakness of that strategy is you will be very vulnerable to time warp and also splash damage. I can see the third prestige being very useful here, just mass battlecruisers in the center to defend. I'm just slightly concerned about the Zergling waves ripping apart the trucks though. That's why I think going bio is also
Uh,
probably a more truck friendly option. But I think either
so
way, it's B for me.
well, for the trucks, like there are only 3 waves. So after 3 waves, there won't be any more. So yeah,
But the
they're
Zergs go.
not that.
The Zerglings go for your base after they destroy the truck.
Yeah, you make spider mines. You
Okay, that
have
makes
like,
sense.
yeah,
All right, that's fine. But still B. So
still be.
regardless of what strategy you choose, you're B. Stet Boy, I had him in A. Not S this week because the barrier will force Stet Boy to use, or at least will force Gary to use the second uh, E-Gorb, destroy the things. It's still really good, just not on the same level as the 4 guys in S we have so far. You can go for Ultras, you can go for Zerglings, Infestors, you have a lot of options here, but nothing really makes him, I don't know, stand out in particular against, well, his peers in S tier. What do you think?
Um, I did 100% Gary
Just
and
Gary.
against just Super Gary,
All
just
right.
Super Gary, and I used evolution chambers to stall. So and I've against a classic mech, which is battle
Pretty
cruiser
hard.
stuff,
Yeah, that's pretty hard.
and it was fine.
Yeah, it
So
was fine.
if you make units, it'll be even
It'll be even
easier.
easier.
So yeah, so I put him in S
All right.
because it's dead.
How did you deal with the Zerglings just eating the truck?
Um, there are only 3 waves, so you Igor them,
Just
and then
outlast them.
yeah, yeah, you don't have to push while they're active. You just go back, fall back, and let them hit they'll hit the evolution chambers that are waiting all over the base, and then Igor them to death.
Okay. I haven't played Stat Boy here, so if you say is S, then I have no choice but to agree. So there we go. Let's put him in S. Stukov for me. Wait. Stukov. Where do we have him?
Stukov, I forgot what I did for him. I think I used Diamondbacks P1, and it's slow, but it works. And you eventually get tanks, and he's fine. So I put him in A.
Okay. I'm also thinking the same thing, either Diamondbacks or mass bunkers, but I'm thinking that the time warps might be an issue for the Diamondbacks. If they're slowed down, they can't really micro quite as well, and you still have to look back at your base to. I guess everyone has pretty much has to look back at their base, but Stukov in particular is mineral heavy, so he kind of needs to be on top of the mineral shield, so that might be a slight issue. I actually have it in B
You
because
can patrol the Diamondback if you want.
oh yeah, that
The
that
the
can work.
slime kills the mineral shields,
Yeah, but it
but you
will
can't have
activate.
two.
It will activate the barrier, so it will take longer.
Well, your alternative is not killing it, right?
That's true, but I'm saying that his best option, either that or bunkers, still takes time to destroy the mineral shield. So he will feel it, being such a mineral heavy commander. That's why
Really?
instead of
I always have too many. Oh no, because I use P1. With P1, I have like excess gas all the time. No, excess minerals.
minerals,
Because yeah, I'm always short on gas. And then what I do is I just make extra barracks, and then I walk forward. So when my Diamondbacks are slow, I'll just infest my barracks, and then the enemies will have something else to hit.
mm, I guess it's fine. I'm trying to compare him to guys like Arcturus, Phoenix, Karax. I don't know.
I don't think he's better than them, but I think he's definitely better than the people in B. So he's like the bottom because
Bottom of
I
A.
think he's
I'm okay
fine,
with that.
especially since like if you fight on your side, like on top of the ramp, there are no time warps, so you just like let them run to your slime, and their barriers will wear off and stuff and get killed,
Yeah, I'm okay with bottom
and you
of
have
A.
tanks.
But the only concern I have is my A is already very dense with commander. So, but if you say they're A, okay, can't really argue against someone who has played Stukov here. Swann. What did I do? What did I? think Swann's gonna be fine here. He's probably baseline. You can go mass factories, which will be a little slow in destroying the units because they have barrier. Or you can also go for strategies with concentrated beam, but the pulse cannon in particular will activate the barrier because instead of doing the 600 damage flat, it will do 6 ticks of 100 damage. So you will have to go through the enemy's barrier before you can actually hit them. That being said, it still hits pretty hard. So I think even then, you can still go for any prestige for Swann. He's probably not strong to be an S, but I think he's still pretty good for A. What do you think?
I think he's A. He's a
Yeah.
good A candidate. Wraiths deal tons of damage, like when they're moving. So I did the standard static defense at home, and then Wraiths to go on offense. And then I used P1 laser, so AOE, and it
Splash
was fine.
damage,
I put
pretty
him,
good.
yeah, I put him in A.
I think any prestige will work fine for Swann here. It doesn't seem that annoying for him. I guess you can have flaming betties at home to protect your truck until all 3 waves are gone, and then just use rates and the laser to clear ahead. Yeah, I think any prestige regardless. Yeah, regardless of prestige, I think he's still A. So yeah, let's put him in A. Tychus, where do we have him?
Tychus, I did Tychus only, and it was fine.
He was fine.
It was fine. So, like Odin nukes an entire area, and then you just follow up with everyone else. Even if you use like P0 or P1, doesn't really matter. He's very strong. Barrier doesn't trigger if you kill them in one shot.
Yes.
And if you have like the upgraded grenade damage, then you kill lots of things in one shot.
Yes.
I put him in S.
Yeah, same here pretty much. The only thing is if you don't use the second prestige and you are fighting against stuff like Protoss, in the early game you might get annoyed with the barrier, with the Zealots surrounding you. That might get a little dicey. You may have to fight in the corner so you don't get fully surrounded. But later on, you'll do the same thing as Kerrigan and Nova, drop their big top bar, and then clean up after that. So pretty much S. Vorazun for me, similar. Time stop does work fine. You can do a lot of work with your Dark Templar. Plus, you also have Cadence, which will clear your mineral shields, but also Vorazun's a very gas heavy commander. So you're not really being penalized with the mineral shields in this game. You can clear them with the Cadence, but you're not really going to be forced to do it past the early game once you get your infrastructure up. Army wise, Dark Templar with their Shadow Fury will activate the barrier that will get annoying, and when they walk through the time warp, they'll be annoying also. So for that reason, I don't think they're quite S, but I think it's still pretty strong A. Especially when you're time stop and you just attack the enemies with your Shadow Guard. That's pretty good. What do you think?
I put them in A. Their weakness is air again, and air units with barrier kind of sucks, but you can black hole them. So yeah. Every time you time stop, you probably won't kill an entire area, but the majority of an area gets wiped out every time stop. And,
unless it's air.
Yeah.
Okay,
I put Vorazun in A.
Yeah. Same reasoning. A. Third prestige, right? Because Vorazun only has one prestige. Yes. Zagara, where do we have him?
Zagara, too many banelings will get wasted on the barrier. So yeah, aside from that, it's normal stuff. Small things like Zerglings and Marines will get killed in one shot, so you don't really have to worry about barrier for those. But like Protoss units, they survive, and then you have an extra 100 HP to deal with, unless you run. I put Zagara in B.
I pretty much have the same reasoning. Zagara's in B. With an ally, she's very strong. So a lot of games I have, when they play with the Zagara ally, the Zagara will get more kills because they run banelings very effectively against enemies and they ramp up really fast. But when you have to carry a Zagara or even solo, you might run out of steam. That's always been the problem with Zagara, running out of steam, because the barrier here will force you to use more Zerglings, and the mineral shields, or Zergs and Banelings rather, and the mineral shields can get annoying, especially if you don't ramp up quickly enough. I also think they're B, but I think they might be top of B. I think, but anyway, yeah, still B for Zagara. I think any prestige will work fine here. Third prestige or first prestige, both will be fine. Do you think the third prestige is a clear choice here, or is the first one also viable?
First one is fine.
First one is fine.
It's fine.
All right, so any or first or third prestige will be fine. Zeratul, I have an S. Cannon's good. Demote dude, good. Spin, good. You can even trap the artifact fragment in the first, or in the construct at the center of the bases. The cannons will double as offense, defense, or triple rather, as offense, defense, and mineral shield clearing. So I don't see any reason why he shouldn't be S. What do you think?
Yeah, same. He does what he always does. He's just really strong.
He's really OP. All right, so let's put Zeratul in S. All right, so do we have anyone in double S?
No.
Who's top of S? Get a strong vibe for Kerrigan, actually. Kerrigan or Nova?
I was thinking Kerrigan, because she doesn't... Kerrigan or Tychus.
Because they don't care. I think Tychus...
Kerrigan, Tychus, and Stetmann.
Tychus might be better by virtue of having the big red button also damage structures. So you'll be also effective against bunkers and stuff. Whereas Kerrigan, you will have to fight the bunkers. And although one thing Kerrigan has is the Omega Worm, so she and her ally can both get in and out and dodge stuff like time warps. Although Kerrigan might have some slight issue against air, or at least take a while to destroy air, whereas Tychus just shrugs it off like it's nothing. So I think maybe Tychus.
That's true. Yeah, I think so. Tychus.
All right. And who's next?
Then Stetmann.
Stetboy? Okay, if you say so.
He doesn't have a delete button, but he doesn't worry about any enemy.
I think the delete button makes it really easy. Like if someone were to ask me to carry them, a delete button is very easy to press for someone who needs. But if you're the one doing the carrying, I can see the delete button not being so much of a crutch. So,
well, I think because like if you're asked to carry and then you get like an unfavorable comp, Kerrigan might struggle a little, whereas Gary doesn't struggle
Nova?
at all. Nova?
Yeah, third prestige. Just wait for the nuke thing, then clean up with liberators.
I haven't tried that, but I don't think that's that difficult. I guess at home you just put tanks and mines against
tanks
the waves.
And mines, even railgun turrets with your spare minerals. Speaking of railgun turrets, they can also splash damage the mineral shields. So that's another thing she has going for her. And she can even do stuff like airlift if you're in trouble anywhere. She can even do defensive drone. Though I guess Gary also has the green zone overcharge, which is basically a free defensive drone. I'm thinking that the third prestige for Nova is just, I don't know. It feels safer with a super cloak than a super Gary. If that makes sense. Super cloak feels safer than super Gary. Because all you have to do is not use auto attack. Although that being said, you might be in a little bit of trouble in the early game against the early truck attack waves. Unless you really rush out the tanks, which, yeah, you'll still be fine. That's why
if I use P1, like I have a shotgun. So
yeah, that's the one advantage that not going for the third prestige has over going for the third prestige. Although if you're really good at timing, you can just drop a defensive or a sabotage early and just predict when the enemies will come to you, or have a barracks in front and deploy just float your barracks there or land it in front of the where you think they'll path to. Deploy a sabotage drone and then have them attack the barracks. Then they'll get destroyed by the sabotage drone while they're trying to destroy the barracks. But anyway, yeah. So I think it's a toss up between Nova and Stetboy. So I'll let you decide who you prefer.
I think it's Stetmann's better.
Stetboy? All right. Then we'll have, I think, Nova next.
Nova, Kerrigan,
Nova, Kerrigan.
Zeratul, Dehaka, Abathur.
Yeah. Abathur for me was A, so I think it's fair to put him in, bottom of S. Top of A.
Manx.
Oh yeah, Arcturus. He was S for me.
Manx, Karax.
Arcturus, Karax.
Swann.
Swann? Because they're very solid and you're not really in danger. I think Alarak could be good here also. Oh, how about Phoenix though?
I think Swann's better
Swann's
against
better than-
most comps.
Okay.
Against most comps.
I
You
think
slow them, yeah.
I think Alarak and Phoenix are kind of similar here. They play kind of similarly. So I put them in a
Yes.
tie. So is Vorazun better than both of them? Or worse than both of them? Because she's very offensive oriented. Because of the time stop thing. The air might be an issue. Then again, air is also an issue for Phoenix. Black
I
hole
think
pretty good.
if you're able to take out their detector, then you just let them
Waltz in.
come to you. Yeah, and you just like get free shots.
So I think
They don't have
Vorazun's...
Avenger.
That's true. So I think Vorazun's over Alarak and Phoenix.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Stukov bottom.
Stukov bottom, yeah. I had Stukov in B, so I think it's fair. As I said, I think Zagara is top of B. Because...
Yeah.
Zagara's top of B. And then... I think Raynor next.
Raynors above Artanis.
Yeah, and then Han and Horner in C tier. Yeah, I think that's pretty much... Yeah, that's pretty fair. The only difference with my own personal tier list is that I put Abathur in A. And... I also had Arcturus in S. So... Yeah, that's pretty much it. Anyway, that's the tier list for this week. Pretty straightforward. This is the last easy mutation. The week after this will be coordinated defense, which will be polarity. So if you need EXP for commanders, get them now before it gets tough. And guys, watch Tutu's channel. I will link them down below, and I will see you guys next time.